What's up guys, it's River and today we're looking at the Canon SL2. It's small and compact like a mirrorless but has the features and benefits of a DSLR, which makes it a very good camera to buy and also very user-friendly. And before we get into the video guys, just quickly want to say thank you so much for all the wonderful comments you guys leave behind. They genuinely mean the world to me. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're new to the channel, we review camera gear here from entry level all the way to professional and filmmaking techniques from a professional cinematographer to take your films to the next level. So make sure to subscribe and let's get into the video. So this camera is extremely small and light, but it has the internals of a DSLR. It has the same mount, the same sensor. It's kind of like a mini Canon 80D. It's really the best of both worlds. This camera has a 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor, which is the go-to sensor for most Canon cameras. Plus it has Canon's Digic 7 processor, which is fairly new and will give you very, very clean images. And on top of that, it has Canon's dual pixel autofocus. If you're planning to shoot video with this camera, you will have a tremendous time with autofocus. Honestly, I love this camera for a beginner video shooter. And one of the biggest selling points for this camera is the fact that it still has the Canon EF mount. Generally, when you switch to mirrorless bodies or smaller cameras, you have to change lens mounts and you're just simply limited in your lens choice. But with Canon EF, you literally get access to the largest lineup of lenses out there. They make everything, and I mean everything, in the EF mount. So you can buy cheap lenses, upgrade to more expensive lenses, you are not limited. Leave a like if you love Canon lenses. Personally, they're my favorite brand. I think I have 15 or 20 of them. If you're shooting photos with this camera, you should get spectacular results because of that 24 megapixel sensor, which is the same sensor in most popular Canon cameras. This camera does 5 frames per second, but also has Canon RAW, so you can get those gorgeous Canon colors. I shoot a ton of sunsets with this camera and literally, I never feel like I need to ever edit my images. However, this camera only has 9 points of autofocus, which should be just fine for still life, portraits, landscapes, but if you're doing something with a lot of action like sports, this might struggle a little bit. But video is really where this camera shines. Vlogging, YouTube, or really anything where you need to produce a gorgeous image. And one of the big reasons you should think about buying a Canon camera is if you want gorgeous, true-to-life colors right out of the box with minimal editing. The color science in Canon cameras is simply magnificent, and it wouldn't be a stretch to say it is the best in the consumer industry. This camera does full HD in gorgeous Canon colors up to 60 frames per second, so you do get room for a little bit of slow motion. However, there is no 4K, but for the price point, I'm not too bothered about that. But what really excites me is the fact that you get dual pixel autofocus for video at this price point. Dual pixel autofocus is very, very good. I would say it's 9.7 out of 10. The focusing system is extremely reliable and it literally cuts your work in half. This camera is small and compact, so if you're vlogging or doing walking shots with it, you will easily be able to keep things in focus, and it's small so you can put it on a gimbal and not have to worry about managing focus. And since we're talking about how small it is, let's talk about the design of this camera. We already know this camera is small and compact, but it has a lot of other interesting design features. One of my favorite features about this camera is the flip out screen that comes out to the side. It's extremely useful for video. It's easy for framing up shots, getting high angle, low angle, and especially useful for vlogging or something like this where you have to film yourself and you need to be able to see if you're in focus and what your frame looks like. And speaking of focus, you can actually use the touchscreen to set your focus, so no more fiddling around with your lens. It's a very modern camera because that touchscreen is very responsive, very easy to use, feels like a very modern experience. And to be honest, that flip out screen just makes your life easier. And ultimately, the ergonomics of this camera are fantastic. The buttons are nice and clicky and properly laid out. This camera is very easy to use. You never really feel lost or confused. And again, if you're not that into buttons, the touchscreen is very easy to use. The software in this camera is very minimal and very straightforward. Canon is known for being very user-friendly and very easy to use. They're kind of like the Apple of cameras, just very well designed, kind of made for everybody. Although I think Canon cameras are definitely better priced than Apple products. Leave a like if you know for a fact that you have spent all of your life savings on Apple products and now you are broke. AKA me. If you're new to cameras, this is a great camera to learn on before you upgrade to something bigger. And I should mention, this camera does have an external audio jack, although it's pretty rare to see a camera that doesn't have one nowadays. However, I should note this one very important thing. when you use the flip out screen and you move it to the side, it can hit that audio jack and accidentally break it or disconnect it. So be careful about that. It's a very small camera and I guess they just didn't have enough real estate. However, I'm really not bothered by this at all. This is a flaw that I see on most consumer cameras. If you want a camera that does not have this problem, I would definitely look into the 80D or 90D. However, this camera is not perfect. It does have a few flaws. One of them being low light. It's really not that great in low light. I probably would never push this camera past 1600. I would probably not even go to 2000 or 3200. 1600, it's kind of the breaking point. Also, the lens that this camera comes with is not great for low light either. If you want to do low light, I would either look into the Sony cameras. Pretty much every Sony camera is pretty good at low light, or I would get a fairly affordable pair of external lights from Amazon. I got my GMV lights for about $100 each. And the other thing that I don't love about this camera is the fact that it doesn't have 4K or 120 frames per second. Now I can't really fault Canon because it is such an affordable camera, but if those things are something that you really need, I'd look into the Canon T7i. It's at a similar price, but you will be losing the Canon EF mount. Or look into this camera's slightly older brother, the Canon SL2. It's almost the same camera, but it does have 4K. So who's this camera really for? I recommend this to somebody that's doing YouTube, like vlogging, educational content, kind of like this. Someone that needs a small, compact, affordable camera with a gorgeous Canon HD image, and you're not looking to do super slow motion or 4K. And personally, I think this is one of the best cameras you can buy today for YouTube. The only people I probably wouldn't recommend this camera to is professional commercial filmmakers or professional corporate filmmakers. For you guys, I recommend something like an 80D, 90D, Sony a7 III, EOS R, specifically because it has C-Log, but this camera is really more for the hobbyist or niche, young, starting YouTuber. Also, if you're a YouTube or Twitch streamer, this would be a great camera for you because you guys just need something with a pretty image that's gonna have a big battery, and this will absolutely get the job done for you. Plus, it comes at a fantastic price. If you guys want any other recommendations, make sure to let me know. Overall, it's a great camera at a great price. If you think it fits your needs, definitely pick one up. Well guys, that pretty much wraps up the review on the Canon SL2. If you guys want to check out the camera, there's a link down below, and if you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining, or if you just watched it all the way through, make sure to leave a like. It helps the video out, and it makes my day. Plus, if you guys are gear nerds like me or you want to learn more about cameras, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're always talking about gear. I'm putting up videos twice a week, every week. And if you want to learn about filmmaking techniques, definitely make sure to subscribe because this coming summer, I'm going to be sharing a ton of filmmaking tips. So I'll see you guys this summer. Thanks for joining us.